So today we're going to be talking about integrating wellness and mental health goals. You guys hear me talk about wellness often, and mental health, physical health, spiritual health, emotional health, all this stuff. But a lot of you really don't tune in because it's like, what does this have to do with trading? Well, I reckon that most of you who have been trading for some time now understand that it's once you understand the technical side of things, you have a really good strategy, your technical analysis is on point, your risk management protocols are all in line with your goals. All that stuff is taken care of, yet you're still not profitable. Why do you think that is? And I'm here to tell you it's the discipline you have and your psychology behind all this. And what do we know about mental health? That is directly intertwined with our overall well-being. So bear with me. It's going to be a short lesson, probably 20 minutes today. And yeah, without further ado. Oh, quickly, before I do jump into it, if at any time you guys have questions, comments, concerns, just want to dialogue or chat, shoot it out in the chat and we'll take a pause. I'm here for you guys. I'm not here to just spew curriculum at you guys. I'm here to work with you and help elevate each other. So I broke today's lesson, integrating wellness and mental health goals, into two parts. The first part being the importance of combining mental and physical health goals. So why does this balance matter? And part two is developing a comprehensive wellness plan. So I don't jump into the nitty gritty on part two, but just a general outline of how to structure it for yourself because it's so individual. It's very individual goal setting. So no more chats. Let's jump into it. So why does any of this matter? Why does balance matter? Why does combining mental and physical health goals matter? So wellness is achieved by balancing mental and physical health, ensuring both areas complement one another. And I would go further and even say that wellness is achieved by balancing not only mental and physical health, but also spiritual and emotional health as well. But when you do have a really solid foundation of mental and physical health, spiritual and emotional health, especially emotional health, will tend to follow that. Spiritual health is a whole different wrestling match on its own. And if you guys want to jump into that in the future, I'm more than happy to jump into that as well. But so that's why it matters. Ensuring both areas complement one another. And we'll get into some examples of that here shortly. So overemphasis on one can lead to burnout, stagnation, or lack of motivation in the other. So balanced goals improve energy, resilience, and overall well-being. Yeah, we got it. Pretty straightforward. So a strong mind supports a strong body and vice versa. Integrating both enhances long-term wellness. So pretty straightforward. Hopefully everybody understands. I can nerd out about this stuff. I'm not an expert in physiology or psychology, but I do study all the time, and I have a pretty solid foundation of why these things matter and on a scientific level that I love to jump into, but a lot of people don't care about. So let's move on if we don't have any questions about identifying overlaps between mental and physical health. So these are the examples I was talking about. So, or on how these two complement each other. So exercise reduces anxiety and boosts mental clarity. And then on the flip side, so sleep improves physical recovery and emotional stability. So the more we work on one side of ourselves, the better off the other side of ourselves is going to be, and vice versa. And when we talk about creating healthy habits for both our mental and our physical well-being, we also have to acknowledge the other side of the coin of bad habits of mental and physical clarity, or mental and physical health. When we are continually setting ourselves up for success as far as how our systems and habits are formed to improve physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental well-being, they all complement each other and stack on top of each other, and we can start to reach higher and higher goals. But on the other side of that coin is if you are lacking or mistreating yourself in any one of those areas, it's not going to complement, but it's going to start tearing down at some other good habits that you might have. And so you may be really, really strong physically, really mobile, healthy, your diet's on point. And I'm sure your part of your mental health is reflected from that because we know of all the good hormones that are produced when you exercise. But if you have a terrible sleep schedule and you have tons of anxiety and chronic depression or whatever it might be, there's going to be adverse effects on your mental or your physical well-being as well. And so I just want you guys to understand on a very fundamental level, bringing it back to trading. If you are here, like most of us are, to be part of a community that has an emphasis on growth, an emphasis on improving your trading. That's what Eternal Exchange was founded on. How do we get you to the point that you want to be? And let's work on that goal collectively. But if you are really good at trading, but you lack discipline in every other aspect of your life, and your physical health kind of sucks, your diet is out of the window, forget about it, your sleep schedule is super off, and you're having some pretty substantial issues with your spouse or your kids or whatever it might be, that you cannot just categorize your trading career as one portion of your life and expect that everything else is not going to bleed into that. It is. And so when you sit down with your perfect risk management plan and your perfect account balance and you go to take a trade and all of a sudden you find yourself not following your risk management plan, why do you think that is? I reckon because you are lacking discipline in multiple other aspects of your life. So when you sit down and do something hard, like follow your risk management plan, when all these emotions are flowing, it's going to be extremely difficult to do that if this is the hardest thing you've done today. So I often talk about challenging yourself, pushing yourself to improve your diet, to continually exercise every single day, to at least get a sweat in, and potentially do deliberate cold exposure like ice baths or cold showers, whatever it might be, whatever is difficult for you. You need to step in, or you need to step up rather, and start accomplishing those things. Otherwise, I think it's going to be a very painful and long journey for you as an individual that lacks discipline in every other aspect of your life to sit down and expect to become really good at trading. I truly believe in the deepest depths of my heart that is not how life works. How you do one thing is how you're going to do everything. So if you're someone that continually presses snooze on your alarm and says you're going to work out today and you don't work out, and et cetera, whatever it might be for you, when you sit down and do this stuff, it's going to be very, very difficult for you. So my encouragement to you is just continue to do the hard thing daily, and don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to others. Continue to do it. That was a little bit of a tangent off notes, but we got a comment here. 357 today since Friday, up 1859. This community is definitely the best I've ever been a part of. So grateful. That's amazing, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate you for being here and sharing that as well. So moving, I kind of already jumped into it. The last part of part one, the last section of part one, is I encourage everybody to integrate at least one mental health habit, like i.e. journaling, and one physical habit, like taking a daily walk after lunch, to integrate into your daily routine. Again, if you are really far away from your mental and physical goals, that's okay. The best time to start is today, and it doesn't have to be, we don't have to David Goggins this stuff. We can just start by taking a walk, maybe even for 5 minutes if you're on a really tight time restraint after you eat your lunch today, or to sit down before you go to sleep. You can make 5 minutes to journal down something. And those are the small habits that will lead to a lifetime of success and improvement in your trading strategy as well, your trading career, I should say. So that was part one. We covered why the balance matters and identifying overlaps between mental and physical health. Part two jumps into developing a wellness plan. So how do we make a plan for our mental and physical health that will improve our life as a whole, including trading? That's kind of the goal here, right? So I've talked about this in the past, but yeah, I'll share that at the end actually. So let's jump into it. Developing a comprehensive wellness plan, setting SMART goals for mental and physical health. So you guys may have heard of SMART goals before, It's an acronym. SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. SMART. And it's a really good outline just to make goals. If you are an avid goal setter and you continually make goals, you don't have to follow this, but I think it's a good place to start. So develop a short-term goal for each area. So for example, and we're talking about two parts here, mental and physical, using these goals to complement these goals and these goals to complement these goals. So mental. So I would highly recommend meditation, but it could be anything, whatever you want to do. Maybe it's reading, maybe it's journaling, whatever it is for you. So for your mental goals, it could be something like meditating for 5 minutes a day for 2 weeks. And then for your physical, it could be workout for 20 minutes 3 times a week. Again, this stuff does not have to be extreme. And I would actually steer you away from diving headfirst into a full workout regimen or a 20-minute bout of meditation. It's nearly impossible. I don't know if you guys have meditated before, but if you fall out of the practice of meditation to sit down and try to meditate for 20 minutes, you're probably going to get a total of 90 seconds out of that 20, maybe 90 seconds out of that 20 minutes of actual clarity, where you don't have the monkeys running around in your brain. So I would steer you away from that and try something small, like a 5-minute walk after lunch, meditating for 5 minutes, journaling for 5 minutes, whatever it is. So start small and build momentum to avoid being overwhelmed and promote consistency. So we're wrapping it up here, creating a monthly wellness plan. So the approach you should have is combine mental and physical activities into a structured monthly plan. So I broke it down into a 4-week thing. It's really quick. So let's dive into it. Week 1, I would encourage you guys to focus on stress management. A lot of us carry around chronic stress. There's high levels of cortisol in our bloodstream all the time because of all these external and potentially internal factors, and a lot of it could be diet as well, increasing blood pressure and whatever it might be. But on to the goals that we're setting for ourselves, we should have a low level of consistent stress. We should have spikes in stress, like when we work out or when we take cold showers, whatever it might be. That's good stress. But having consistently high levels of cortisol in the blood can lead to 1,000 different ailments that humans face. But week 1, focus on stress management. It could be meditation and some light activity. It could be just walking. Week 2, you could add journaling to this. So at first, in meditation, a lot of you guys hear that who have never tried it before, and you think of, a Buddhist monk sitting and saying Om, which can be really powerful, but it could be as simple as sitting at your desk before you get up to use the restroom and taking 30 seconds for yourself to just focus on your breath, taking deep, long inhales and long exhales. And that could be your meditation for the day. And it could start by 1 minute per day. So week 2, you could add journaling to that and increase the exercise intensity. Right now, week 1, you might have just started walking. Well, week 2, you could incorporate some sit-ups, some push-ups, some pull-ups if you're able, whatever it might be, or just maybe start jogging a little bit instead of the walk. Just start slow, build this momentum. Week 3, you can look back on the past 2 weeks and assess progress and adjust these goals as necessary. The idea behind this structure is just to start. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, folks, but you making the conscious effort to start your progress and set up habits for yourself to achieve these goals is what matters. Then week 4, you can reflect on the achievements that you set. Like, hey, I said I was going to meditate every day, and I did it for 6 days a week on average this whole month. That's awesome. Pat yourself on the back and say, you know what, I could probably up that another minute or 2 minutes this next month, and that's what I'm going to do. So reflect on these achievements and set goals for the next month. Again, this is not an ultra marathon, folks. You just need to start. Practical tip: you could use a wellness calendar to track habits. You could find them on Google, whatever works for you, or the App Store, Android App Store, whatever they call that. And I wanted to close out by asking you guys, if you guys want to interact, that would be awesome. But I do want to ask you guys, what are some goals that you have? as far as or relating to your mental and physical health. I could start my mental health goals is to journal daily, and that doesn't have to be anything crazy. That could be a potentially trading entry. Typically, it's not. Typically, it's more personalized to that, where I either journal right in the morning when I wake up, or typically it tends to fall before I go to sleep at night, where I just journal out how my day was, where my thoughts were. And when you start to do that, I think of sometimes when I journal, I think of all the thoughts in my head like a ball of yarn. And when I journal, I start to pull on that thread, and I can start to unwind all these thoughts that are bundled up like a ball of yarn. And when I first sit down and start journaling, it's typically, I'm literally writing about my day. What did I do today? How did I feel? And all of a sudden, just my pen and paper, I start to really pull at what's going on in my head. Why am I doing the things I'm doing? And it just starts to flow naturally. And that takes time, but that's something that I try to strive for every day. And then on the physical side of things for goals, is for me 3 to 4 resistance training sessions a week and 2 to 3 cardio sessions a week. And it typically ranges from HIIT workouts to medium intensity, longer cardio sessions, and then just legs, push, pull, core, the whole thing. So those are my goals. And the reason I bring this up, I'm not, even though I do love dialoguing with you guys, what I'm trying to evoke is conversation in your own head about where do you want to be. And this stuff matters, folks. This really, really does matter, to have goals, to push yourself. And bigger than having goals is setting up systems and habits to achieve those goals. Because I love how James Clear put it in his book, Atomic Habits. The 8 racers at the start of a race or hurdles or whatever it might be, they all have the same goal to win, but you don't rise to the level of your goals, you follow the level of your systems. Which athlete put in more work and developed habits to get themselves to that goal? And that's how we should view essentially all of our goals in life. And again, bringing it back to trading, this is the stuff that matters, folks. Having written down, like, hey, I've been trying to make $200 a day, and evidently that's too much. I'm just pushing a little too hard. I'm not taking time to focus on myself. I'm focused on the money and not on the system. I'm focused on this goal and not on the habits that I need to create. And that's the stuff that matters. And you could talk to whatever your definition of success is. Talk to a person who has achieved that success in your eyes, or listen to them, find them online, and listen to what they say. And I would guarantee the vast majority of them would say the same thing, that their mindset was less focused on the outcome and more focused on the daily grind, whatever it is they had to achieve that day to build the system and the foundation that they needed to step off of to achieve that outcome. And so that when I ask you questions like, what are some goals you have? And then the follow-up question to that is, what are some systems you have in place to achieve those goals? And that's the root of this message today, is that sit down, write that stuff down, and start working towards that stuff. It is the essence of growth. That is what we have to be doing. So I hope that stuff resonates with you. My closing statement today is, balancing mental and physical health is key to sustainable wellness. By creating a monthly plan with realistic, actionable goals, again, a monthly plan with realistic, actionable goals, you can build a foundation for lasting improvements in both areas and achieve a healthier, more balanced lifestyle. And I think that's all we are trying to achieve as humans. We have some comments. Let's see what we got. Journaling is new, but mostly working on the balance of patience and execution. That's huge. Oh, quickly, I'm going to get to the other comments, but I just finished yesterday coming up with a journaling outline. If you guys have not seen the risk management outline I sent to you guys, I will be putting the emphasis on this. Joe will be reminding you guys as well, but just in that tab, you can find a outline of the most common prop firm accounts and their sizes, and then you can just look in and see, okay, my max lot size should be around 4 micros if my stop loss is anywhere from 50 to 60 ticks. Again, everything's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be a general outline. And I just finished a journaling outline for you guys. For those of you who do want to improve yourself and want to start journaling, you don't know how, I'll upload those right after this session so you guys can look at that outline, and there's prompts given to you. I think I wrote 10 prompts on that, and then on the other side it's just some things to focus on. So I'm excited about that stuff. Hopefully some of you guys will find it useful. Moving on to the next little question, or comment I should say. Practice being present and be able to pinpoint my attention to achieve my goals. Meditation and journaling will definitely work. That's awesome. Practice being present. I love that. It was just one of my journal entries the other night. I was writing, life seems to be moving so quickly, and the only way it seems to slow down is when I truly focus on the present. And that just jogged my memory of that. It's really cool. Practice being present. I love that. I want to be more present and not so scatterbrained. You need to get back to meditating and journaling for sure. Yeah, and even in writing this lesson, I was thinking a lot about meditation. I haven't meditated in a while. To elaborate on that, I do breathe often, where I am setting a dedicated time, multiple times a day, typically at least 2, where I just breathe for a couple minutes. And maybe it's 2 minutes, 1 minute. But that is dedicated time. But for me, meditation is a set aside time, like, hey, you're taking 10 minutes out of your day to breathe and focus on your breath, and whatever mind monkeys, as they call them, these thoughts come and go, just let them come and go and continue that focused breath. And I haven't done that deliberate meditation in a long time. And I want to get back into it. When I was consistently practicing meditation, my mental clarity skyrocketed, my sleep improved, and a big one that I could tangibly notice, like I could almost grab onto it, it was so relevant, was how much my emotional maturity improved in real time. Because I think sometimes we can think of emotional maturity as a place you reached, like, oh yeah, I'm this emotionally mature and I can never fluctuate from that. And most of us know that's not true. Depending on what you ate, how you slept, what stressors you have in your life right now, that emotional maturity to external things that happen to you, that can fluctuate. You can handle situations better when you're feeling really good rather than when you're feeling bad. But what I did notice when I was meditating is across the board, regardless of how I was feeling, what I ate, how well my sleep was the night before, I was better able to handle and fully feel my emotions in real time when things would happen to me. And that was just an awesome thing. So it looks like that's it, folks. Hopefully I didn't yap at you too long today. But again, the goal here in Internal Exchange is to facilitate growth for each other, to help each other grow. And, what's that really famous quote? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing, but this is what we're about here. It's not just us speaking to you. You guys are helping us as well. Like daily, I look in and I check in on a lot of your guys' trading journals. That's just really helpful for me to, look through, see what you guys are struggling with. And then I can, in my growth with trading, I can take some of that, like, oh man, I didn't even realize that was a really cool way this person put that. I'm actually struggling with something very similar. How can I work through that better? But again, we really can't go far if we go alone. So that's why we have this community. So I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you jumping on here and spending your precious time and listening to me rant about some stuff. So that's exciting to me, and I really do appreciate that on a real level. And I'm proud of you guys. And when I say this, I mean it. I do love you guys. I really, really do. I do. I do, and you guys may have not heard that from anybody close to you in some time, but I do love you and appreciate you. And as we move into these holidays, as we move into Christmas and New Year's coming up, I know that can be some of the happiest times for people and some of the hardest times for people. So if you are struggling, or maybe you're ecstatic and you just want to share that, I encourage you guys to share that in the community here. That brings always a smile to my face. But if you're struggling, please reach out to me. If you want to do it publicly, I encourage that. But if you want to do it privately, I also encourage that. Reach out to me, Jojo, Braden, solid dudes, and we just want to help whatever it is you guys are going through. So we're a community here for you. I know it may seem just like an online trading community where you go to get your signals. That's cool too. Good for you for doing that. But we are here for you on a very, very intimate and real level. So we appreciate you guys being here. And I hope you guys, unless you guys have anything else for me, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Well, it looks like that's it. So I wish you all the best in your goal setting. And I really do encourage you guys to set these goals in place, journal it down, create some actionable and sustainable systems and habits for yourself, and go tell your loved ones that you love them. We always think that we have more time than we really do. So I'll see you guys. Thank you.